3 days after my divorce was finalized, my ex-wife. Sister looked me in the eyes and said, "Be my husband." I thought she was joking. She wants T. The day my divorce was finalized, it did feel dramatic. No rain, no shouting, no last-minute confession at the courthouse doors, just a quiet, "You were free to go," from the clerk, the shuffle of papers, and the hollow sound of a stamp hitting the file that used to be my marriage. I walked out into the afternoon sun feeling lighter and somehow heavier at the same time. 8 years. That is how long Emma and I had been together. We weren't explosive. We weren't toxic. We just slowly stopped choosing each other. Arguments turned into silence. Silence turned into distance. Distance turned into separate bedrooms. And one morning we both admitted what we'd been pretending not to see. We don't make each other happy anymore, she said. And she was right. The divorce was clean. No kids, no court battles. We split the house. She kept the dog. I kept the car. It was painfully civilized, but what nobody told you about a civilized divorce is that it still feels like something died. I was halfway down the courthouse steps when I heard my name. Daniel. I knew that voice. Soft. Slightly husky. Always controlled. I turned and saw Olivia standing near the railing. Emma's younger sister. She wasn't dressed for court. No blazer. No formal heels. Just jeans, a black blouse, and her hair pulled back loosely like she hadn't. T tried too hard, but somehow still looked put together. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I came for my sister," she said, stepping closer, but she left through the back exit. That sounded like Emma. Avoid the scene. Avoid the weight of endings. Olivia studied my face like she was reading something written there. "So," she said quietly, "it is really over." "Yeah," I replied. "It is really over." For a moment neither of us spoke. Cars passed. A couple argued across the street. Life kept moving like nothing monumental had just happened. "I am sorry," she said. "For what?" "For how she treated you at the end." I gave a small laugh. It was one-sided. Her eyes did leave mine. "No, but you tried longer." That caught me off guard. Olivia and I had never been particularly close. Friendly, sure. Holidays, birthdays, occasional group dinners. She'd always been observant, though. Quieter than Emma. More intense. "I should go," I said finally. "Daniel." There was something in the way she said my name that made me stop. She stepped closer. Close enough that I could smell her perfume, subtle, not sweet. Her voice dropped. "Be my husband." I blinked. What? She didn't look embarrassed. She didn't look playful. She looked serious. "I am not joking," she whispered. My brain struggled to catch up. "Olivia, I just divorced your sister. I know. That is insane." "Is it?" she asked softly. "Yes, very." She glanced around, then back at me. "Not here. Can we talk somewhere?" Every instinct told me to walk away. This was messy, complicated, wrong on too many levels. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. "There's a cafe across the street," I said. We sat in a corner booth. Neither of us touched our coffee. "Start talking," I said. She folded her hands together like she was bracing herself. "My parents are furious about the divorce." "That is not surprising. They blame you." I sighed. "Of course they do. They were planning something," she continued. That got my attention. "Planning what?" "They want Emma to come back home. They were pressuring her, telling her she made a mistake, that she needs stability, that she embarrassed the family." "That is between them," I said carefully. "It is not just that," Olivia said. "They are also restructuring the family trust." I frowned. Emma's family was wealthy. Not billionaire wealthy, but comfortable enough that money had always hovered around conversations like an invisible third party. "What does that have to do with me?" "They are cutting her off," Olivia said. "Unless she remarries quickly." That's manipulative. "Yes. And they were hinting that if she does they'll shift most of the assets to me." I leaned back. "Congratulations," she did smile. I don't want it like that, she said. I don't want to benefit from her loss. I studied her. So what does any of this have to do with me being your husband? She held my gaze. If I marry you, the trust conditions shift. I stared at her. You were saying, I am saying if I marry someone stable, someone they already respect, the pressure on Emma disappears. They won't push her into some rushed marriage just to protect their reputation. My head spun. You want to marry me to protect your sister? Yes, that is insane. It is strategic. I laughed under my breath. Strategic? You know how my parents think. Appearances matter. If I marry you, the narrative becomes that the divorce was mutual and the families are still connected. No scandal. No shame. Emma gets breathing room. This is absurd, I said. Is it? She asked again, calm as ever. I rubbed my temples. Olivia, even if this logic made sense, which it barely does, why me? You could marry anyone. No, she said quietly. I could. Why not? Because I trust you. The words landed heavier than they should have. You barely know me. I've known you for 8 years, she replied. I've watched how you handled arguments, how you supported Emma's career, how you stayed when most men would have left. I didn't know what to say to that. This would be real, she added quickly, on paper only. Separate lives. We present what is necessary at family events. That is it. And when your sister finds out? I asked. She won tea. I let out a disbelieving breath. You really thought this through? Yes. Silence stretched between us. Why do I feel like there? It's more, I asked. For the first time, something flickered in her expression. What do you mean? I mean, this sounds like a boardroom deal. Not something you whisper outside a courthouse. She looked down at her coffee. You deserve someone who chooses you, she said quietly. That is not an answer. It is to me. The air shifted. Olivia, I said slowly, is this really about protecting Emma? She did respond immediately. When she finally looked up, her voice was softer. Partly. And the other part. She inhaled like the truth physically hurt. I've loved you for years. Everything inside me went still. That is not funny. I am not trying to be funny. You were my wife, sister. Yes, and you were telling me while the ink on my divorce papers is still drying that you've been in love with me. Yes, the honesty in her eyes unsettled me more than if she'd looked guilty. Did Emma know? I asked. No, she said quickly. Never. I never crossed a line. I never flirted. I never said anything. I stayed away when I felt it getting too obvious. I replayed years of memories in my head. Holiday dinners, shared jokes, moments that suddenly felt different in hindsight. This is messed up, I muttered. I know. You should have told me sooner, or not at all. There was never a right time, she said. You were married. I would never have done anything to hurt her. And this one tea? I shot back. She flinched. That is why I waited until it was over. I pushed back from the table slightly, needing space. You can just transfer feelings like this. I was married to your sister. I am not transferring anything, she said firmly. I've felt this way for a long time. I buried it. I tried dating other people. It didn't go away. And you think marrying me fixes that? No, she said softly. I think it gives us a chance. The honesty in her voice made this harder, not easier. I'm not ready, I said. I know. I am barely breathing after this divorce. I know. Then why today? Because if I waited, you'd disappear, she admitted. You'd move cities. You'd start over, and I'd lose my chance forever. There was the real reason. Not strategy, not trust funds. Fear. You don't even know if I feel anything, I said. I don't, she agreed. But I had to try. The cafe felt too small suddenly. Say something, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't Emma, not in the way she held herself, not in the way she spoke. There was a steadiness to her that Emma never had, a quiet intensity. but she was still connected to everything I'd just lost. I can give you an answer, I said finally. I am not asking for one right now. Good. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small folded paper. My number, she said. Not the family one. Mine. I stared at it but did take it immediately. If you never call, I'll understand, she added. And if I do? Her eyes met mine again. Then we figure out what this really is. I took the paper. Not because I decided anything, not because I was ready, but because some part of me, the part that felt unexpectedly alive for the first time in months, was ready to shut the door. As we stood to leave, she paused near the exit. Daniel? Yeah, no matter what you choose, I meant it. Which part? She stepped closer again, her voice barely above a breath. Be my husband. And this time it did sound strategic at all. I did call her that night, or the next. I told myself I needed space. I'd just ended an 8-year marriage. Jumping into anything, even a conversation, felt reckless. But I did throw the paper away either. It sat on my kitchen counter for 3 days. I'd walk past it every morning, make coffee, pretend I did see it. By the 4th day, I knew I was lying to myself. I was avoiding her. I was thinking about her. The way she said it, not dramatic, not seductive, just honest, be my husband. I picked up the paper on the 5th night, stared at the number. Then I called. She answered on the 2nd ring. Hello? It is me. A pause, not confusion, recognition. I was wondering how long you'd wait. Confident, aren't you? No, she said softly. Hopeful. I exhaled. Can we talk somewhere that isn't a courthouse or a cafe? She gave me an address. Not her apartment. A quiet rooftop bar downtown. When I got there, she was already seated in a corner away from the crowd. No makeup this time. Hair down. She looked less composed, more real. You came, she said, dawned right into it. I won tea. I sat across from her. Before this goes anywhere, we need rules. She nodded. Okay. No games, no secret motives, no surprises. Agreed. And if this is about hurting Emma in any way, I am out. Her expression hardened slightly. I would never hurt her. Even if she hurt you? She held my gaze. She's still my sister. That mattered. The waitress came and left. Neither of us touched our drinks. So I said, leaning back, let us pretend for a second this isn't insane. What exactly are you offering? She did hesitate. A real partnership. That is vague. Fine, I'm offering honesty, stability, no manipulation, no emotional disappearing acts. That sounds like a resume. It is what you didn't have. That hit closer than I expected. You think you know what my marriage was like? I asked. I know what I saw. And what did you see? She took a breath. I saw you trying to fix things alone. I saw Emma pulling away and you pretending not to notice because you were afraid if you said it out loud, it would become real. I did respond. Because she wasn't wrong. I am not her, she continued. I don't run when things get hard. I don't shut down. And you don't fall for your sister's husband? I shot back. She did flinch. I fell for the man, not the title. Silence settled between us again. You've thought about this a lot, I said. For years. And you are sure this isn't just proximity, familiarity, some kind of forbidden fantasy? Her lips curved slightly. You really think I'd risk my family for a fantasy? That answer told me more than anything else. I rubbed my jaw. Emma's going to find out eventually. Yes. And I'll deal with that when it happens. That is not good enough. It is the truth, she said calmly. You were divorced. You were free. I am free. We were adults. You make it sound simple. It isn't, she said quietly. But it's not illegal. It is not immoral. It is complicated. There is a difference. I studied her face, looking for cracks. Doubt, hesitation. There wasn't any. Why me? I asked again, softer this time. She looked almost frustrated. Because you were steady. Because you didn't explode when you were angry. Because when Emma lost her job 3 years ago, you worked double shifts and never complained. Because when my dad insulted you at Thanksgiving, you smiled and changed the subject instead of humiliating him back. You noticed all that. I notice everything. The intensity in her voice made my chest tighten. And what if I can't feel what you feel? I asked. Then we don't force it. And if I never do? She swallowed. Then at least I tried. There it was again, that raw honesty. You were asking me to step into something that could destroy what's left of your relationship with your sister. She nodded slowly. Yes. Why are you willing to lose that? I might lose it anyway, she admitted. Emma and I haven't been close in a long time. She keeps me at arm's length, always has. Because you were different. Yes. And because she knew, I said quietly. Olivia's eyes sharpened. Knew what? That you felt something. She shook her head immediately. No, she did, T. You were sure? Yes, but for the first time, doubt flickered there. My phone buzzed against the table. Emma. Both of us looked at the screen. Speak of the devil. I muttered. You don't have to answer. I stared at the name for a second, then picked up. Hey, her voice was tight. Are you with Olivia? My stomach dropped. What? She's not answering her phone. That doesn't mean she's with me. She left dinner early, Emma said. Right after Dad started talking about you. I glanced at Olivia. She was watching me carefully. What did he say? I asked. That you were never right for the family, that this divorce was inevitable. And that he always preferred Olivia as judgment over mine. That explained the tension. Emma, I said carefully, why are you calling me? A long pause. I don't know, she admitted. Habit, I guess. There was something vulnerable in her tone that made everything feel even more tangled. I hope you were okay, I said honestly. You too. Another pause. Are you with her? She asked again, quieter this time. I looked at Olivia. She did move. Yes, I said finally. Silence. Oh, it was anger. It was something else. Surprise. Maybe hurt. It is not what you think, I added. Emma let out a humorless laugh. That is usually a bad sign. We're just talking. About what? I hesitated. Olivia's jaw tightened slightly. About moving forward, I said carefully. Emma did respond immediately. Then she said she always liked you. The words hit like a glass shattering. Olivia's eyes widened. What are you talking about? I asked. You never noticed? Emma's voice sounded almost tired. Of course you did, T. That is not fair. It is fine, she said quickly. It doesn't matter now. Emma, I have to go. She hung up. The rooftop suddenly felt colder. She knew, I said quietly. Olivia's face had gone pale. She could have. She just said you always liked me. That is not the same as she knew. Olivia looked away, processing. Maybe she suspected, she admitted. But I never acted on it. Never. Intent does erase impact. I did steal you, she said sharply. You two were falling apart long before I said a word. I know, I said. But this complicates everything. She leaned forward. Daniel, look at me. I did. I did to break your marriage, she said steadily. If anything, I stayed away to protect it. And now? Now it's over. Her confidence was cracking just slightly. You can walk away, she said. I won't chase you. I won't beg. That is not your style. No, she agreed softly. It is not. The city lights flickered behind her. The world kept moving like none of this mattered. I don't want to be someone's rebound, she continued, and I don't want to be your revenge against Emma. If we do this, it has to be because there's something real. I searched myself for an answer. What did I feel? Not love. Not yet. But something undeniable, curiosity, connection. A pull I hadn't allowed myself to examine before. You scare me, I admitted. A faint smile touched her lips. Good. That's not reassuring. It means this isn't safe, she said. Safe things are usually boring. I laughed under my breath despite myself. This could implode, I said. Yes, your parents could cut you off. Yes, Emma could hate both of us. Yes. And you are still sitting here asking me to consider this? I'm not asking you to jump, she said quietly. I'm asking you not to run. That landed somewhere deep. I stood slowly, needing air. She stood too. For a second, we just faced each other. You don't get to rush me, I said. I want tea. And if I decide this is a mistake, then I'll live with it. I stepped closer, close enough to see the faint tremor in her hands. You are braver than I thought, I said. No, she replied softly. I am just tired of pretending. The honesty between us felt electric. I did kiss her, but I did step back either. Give me time, I said. You have it. As I walked away that night, my phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. I opened it. If you hurt my daughter again, this time at 1 and in paperwork. It was her father. I stopped walking. The game had officially begun. I did sleep that night. The message from her father replayed in my head over and over. If you hurt my daughter again, this time at 1 and in paperwork. Not Emma, daughter. That could mean either of them, or both. I stared at the ceiling until sunrise, trying to decide whether I'd just stepped into a love story or a war. By morning, I'd made one decision. I wasn't going to be intimidated. At 9 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Olivia. Did he text you? She asked immediately, so she knew. Yeah. I'm sorry. For what? For dragging you into this. You did drag me anywhere, I said. I walked. She was quiet for a second. He texted me too. What did he say? That I am embarrassing the family, that if I continue this path, I can consider myself financially independent. That, as his move? I asked. He always leads with money. And does it work? She did answer right away. It used to, she admitted. Does it still? No, that sounded steady, certain. Meet me, I said. Where? Your parents' house. She inhaled sharply. That is not subtle. I am not interested in subtle anymore. There was a pause. Then, okay. Walking back into that house felt surreal. I'd spent 8 years attending holidays there, smiling through passive-aggressive comments, pretending not to notice the way her father evaluated me like an underperforming investment. This time I was a son-in-law. I was something else. Olivia met me at the gate. No hesitation, no fear in her eyes. You don't have to do this, she said. I know. We walked in together. Her father was in the living room. Of course he was, like he'd been expecting us. Emma was there too. That part I hadn't planned for. Her eyes locked onto mine, then shifted to Olivia standing beside me. So, it is true, Emma said quietly. Nothing has happened, I replied. Not physically, she shot back. Her father stood slowly. I warned you, he said. You threatened me. I corrected calmly. I protect my family. By controlling them, the temperature in the room dropped. Olivia stepped forward. Dad, stop. He ignored her. You think you can bounce from one daughter to the other like we're interchangeable? That is not what this is, I said evenly. Emma laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. Then what is it, Daniel? I looked at her fully. It is two adults deciding what they want. And what do you want? She asked. The room went silent. I didn't look at Olivia. I did to look at her father. I answered honestly. I want something real, something steady, something that does to feel like I am begging to be chosen. Emma flinched. That once meant to wound her. But truth has edges. Her father stepped closer. You think she's your answer? I think she's not afraid of hard conversations. Olivia's breath caught slightly beside me. Emma's voice softened. Did you love her while you were married to me? No, I said immediately. I did to allow myself to see her that way. And now. I hesitated, because now one's tea simple. Now I am trying to understand what is in front of me. Emma looked at Olivia. For how long? She asked her. Olivia did lie. Years. That hurt to witness. Emma's jaw tightened. So I was crazy. You weren't. Olivia said quietly. But I never crossed a line. You crossed it now. No, Olivia said, voice steady. You and Daniel ended. I waited until it was over. Her father slammed his hand on the table. This is disgraceful. Why? Olivia asked, turning to him. Because I am making my own choice? Because you were choosing him? Yes, she said simply. That was the moment something shifted. Not dramatic, not explosive. Just clarity. She wasn't hiding behind strategy anymore. No trust talk, no family politics. Just choice. Emma looked at me again. If you do this, she said, there's no going back. There's no going back anyway, I replied gently. A long silence followed, then something I did to expect happened. Emma nodded, not in approval, not in blessing, just acceptance. I don't want you back, she said quietly, but I don't want to feel replaced either. You are not replaceable, I said. You were my wife, that matters. She studied me for a second, then looked at her sister. Just don't make me regret trusting you, she said. Olivia's voice broke slightly. I won't. Her father looked between all three of us like he lost control of a boardroom vote. If you walk this path, he said coldly, don't expect financial support. Olivia did, to even blink. I don't. That was it. No screaming, no dramatic exit. Just lines drawn. Outside the house, the air felt lighter. You did have to stand there like that, Olivia said. Yes, I did. She turned to me. Are you sure? I looked at her. Really looked at her. No manipulation, no games, no hidden smirk, just strength. I'm not saying yes to marriage tomorrow, I said. I know. But I am saying I am not running. Her eyes softened. That is enough, she whispered. Weeks passed, slowly, carefully. We didn't announce anything. We didn't parade around. We met like two people actually getting to know each other without the shadow of a marriage between us. And what surprised me most was the tension. It was the peace. She did demand reassurance every hour. She didn't play mind games. If something bothered her, she said it. If something scared me, I said it. No guessing, no emotional chess. One night, sitting on my balcony, she said, You still think this is insane? Yes, I admitted. She smiled slightly. Good. Why good? Because it means you were aware of the risk. I leaned back in my chair. And you are still willing? I've already risked it. I looked at her hand resting on the table between us. Slowly I covered it with mine. Not rushed. Not desperate. Just intentional. You asked me something outside that courthouse, I said. Her pulse jumped slightly under my fingers. Yes, you said. Be my husband. Her voice dropped. I remember. I took a breath. I can promise forever today. I am not asking for forever. But I can promise this, I continued. If we do this, it is real, not revenge, not rebellion, not convenience. She nodded slowly. And if it falls apart, she asked. Then it falls apart honestly. A tear slipped down her cheek before she could stop it. I don't need a wedding tomorrow, I said quietly. But I do need to know something. What? If I choose you, are you choosing me because I am me? Not because I was hers? She did hesitate. I chose you long before you stopped being hers. That was the answer. I stood, pulled her gently to her feet. I am not ready to be your husband today, I said. Her breath hitched slightly. But I am ready to see if I can become him. For the first time since the divorce papers were stamped, I felt something solid beneath my feet. Not chaos, not rebellion. Choice. She stepped closer, resting her forehead lightly against my chest. No more whispers, she said softly. No more whispers, I agreed. And this time when she looked up at me, there was no strategy in her eyes, just certainty.